When it comes to decision making, leaders tend to believe that everything they do comes from their conscious mind. The reality is that the conscious mind only represents about 20% of everything that they think and do. 80% comes from the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is able to process about 7 bits of information every second. The unconscious mind, on the other hand, can process up to 11 million bits of information. It's like the tip of an iceberg. What you see, the 20% at the top, is driven by everything that you don't see, which is the belief systems, the values, the assumptions, the consciousness of the individual. And that's what drives behavior. So when we talk about bringing about a transformation of the leader's behaviors, we have to start with what is underneath the surface. It is the unconscious mind. We have to address the beliefs, the assumptions, so as to drive change. And what is most critical here is to understand that when it comes to thinking, we have to grow the mind. And it is this mind which has to grow. And when we talk about the growth of the mind, we're talking about addressing the belief systems. We're talking about addressing the perspectives, the worldview, the meaning-making systems, and transition the mind to go from one degree of complexity to the next degree of complexity, so that the mind is then able to keep pace with the ever-increasing complexity of the business world. A self-transforming mind, which is a very creative mind and an evolved mind, is able to deal with polarities. It is able to understand that it is possible to do both rather than get trapped in an either-or phenomenon. It is not about either I increase market share or I increase gross margins. It is about both. It is about doing this and that. It is not just about the short term, but it is about the short term and the long term. Dealing with polarities in a complex world requires an evolved state of mind. And this evolved state of mind comes from reflection, self-awareness, and more often than not, with the help of a coach. A coach who is able to work with the leader to help them to understand their own beliefs, to help them to understand how they are trapped within the convictions of their own successes, which then prevent them from thinking out of the box, prevent them from being able to find creative solutions. And that is the clear message that we are talking about when it comes to the role of a coach helping a leader to transform and give themselves the competitive advantage that they need for their organizations. Leadership and leadership advantage leads to organizational advantage.